tyres and pressures on our cars. Let's start with pressures, since I reckon that's pretty much universal. Now, the book says 28 psi. Now, I suspect both rubber and our road surfaces have changed dramatically since those pressures were defined back in the 1950s. And we find that these cars are a lot happier at a higher tyre pressure. So I would suggest, for road use, 32 psi at the front, and at the back 34 psi. That's 2.2 bar, 2.3 bar. And for competition use, well, probably drop it down to 30 psi all round, which is 2.1 bar. Yeah, that's the tyre pressures. Now, what about tyre size? Now, the carburetted cars all came with 165 R15 tyres, and that is a lovely tyre to use. It's efficient, quiet, good handling, and particularly in winter with the snow, it can be a lovely tyre to drive on. It can be very entertaining when those huge four-wheel drives are on their fat, low-profile summer tyres, struggling for grip, and we can just sail past them in deep snow in our Amazon or 140. And that's because of good tyres, 165 R15 tyres. However, they're expensive when you can find them. You can see on Emma's car, we've actually got Michelins fitted. I'm not convinced that Michelins are the best anymore. I have a suspicion that there are several of the Far Eastern manufacturers can equal Michelin on quality. So if you can find a reputable Far Eastern tyre in 165 R15, they would call it 165 80/15 now, then I would say that's a really good tyre to go for. However, let's have a look over here, because here we have a different tyre. So, a very good value tyre and very commonly available is the 185/65 R15 tyre. So you can get that in many different quality makes, and is an excellent tyre. Slightly narrower rolling diameter, but unlikely for you to notice on the speedometer, in honesty. And on our competition cars, this is what we fit. Usually we use a winter tyre because we're often on dirt, mud, wet surfaces. But if you buy a four-season or a summer tyre, very good road tyre indeed. We'd still use the same tyre pressures as I mentioned earlier. Specifically, this is Yokohama, which of course are a very high quality tyre. Now, you'll see people fitting big wide wheels on their cars and presumably then planning to go to something like 205 width rubber. In honesty, unless it's for styling purposes, all you're doing is degrading your car's handling. 185 is about the fattest you want on these cars. After 185, your road holding might be good, but your car handling will start deteriorating very quickly. I have actually used 195 tyres on track competition. It's not a nice tyre, but for track competition, it serves a purpose and I can live with its foibles. But for road use, 185 is the fattest you want to go to. The nice thing is, but the 165 R15 will fit the 4 and 4.5 inch rim that's commonly available for the Volvo. The 185, more comfortable on a 4.5 inch rim without problems. So to finish off, I mean, on the topic of tyre manufacturers, yeah, we find Michelin and Vredestein rather a hard compound. We're not great fans of either of those two. Yokohama we love. Kumo we think is a brilliant tyre. But there are several other manufacturers out there from the Far East who are producing really good tyres. Maxxis, for instance. So there we go. Our suggestion is that you want to go for 185 65 R15 if you are looking for a commonly available tyre. We would say 32, 34 PSI as tyre pressures, which is 2.2, 2.3 bar. Yeah, that is our opinion on tyres and pressures.